Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fate Grand Order video. And today, I'm going to be talking about the Summer 2022 rerun, which for us was 2024, which should be the next summer banners, the amount of summer banners coming up. I'm going to be talking about all three of them that are going to be coming. And the reason is that because around the time the first of these would be released, I'll be busy doing potentially other videos, and I also missed out on talking about Tez, which I guess if you want a quick, hey, is Tez good? Yes, he is very good. You should get him if you like Tez, or if you're in need of an arts AoE assassin, he's kind of the go-to. But you see, I missed out on talking about him, so to make sure I don't do it for these, in case anyone's interested about knowing how these units are, which for the most part, all but one of them are really good, then this is what that video is for. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, when are these banners coming up? So, the first of these is going to be Lady Avalon and Gareth, which you can see right here. We're going to be following the way JP did. So, in JP, these released a week after. You can see this came out August 17th. And then a week later, it was the 24th. So, that should follow to mean that when this banner released, which was the 23rd, a week later would be the 30th, so that's when we're going to get the first of those banners, and it should be, because when I say 30th, people are like, do you mean at night? No, it should be at day roll, so it kind of changes depending on where your location is based off of, but it should be at day roll the 30th, and your time will change depending on a lot of things, unfortunately. I can't really account for all those, but that's the way it should go. And we are following Japan, because you can see here, this one came out 21st, and then 2 days later, this banner came out, so it should be around that time. In terms of the banner breakdown, it is Lady Avalon the first, and then Gareth, and then 2 days later, which would be August 1st, would be Summer Ibuki and Summer Eris, and then 2 days later, it would be Summer Skadi and Summer Wuzatane. With the craft essence being the ones that were from that summer event last year. So if you missed out on any of these, you can get your chance at getting them again. And yeah, so let's go over the units. I'm going to start with a big grouping of the 4 stars, just to start off, because I obviously, the main focus is going to be the 5 stars here. But I can give you my quick thoughts on using them after using a lot of these. Summer Gareth is the one bad unit of these batch of units. I think all 5 of these are exceptional units, with some of them obviously being better than others, but unfortunately Gareth is the one that needs the most help. The reason is that she is an AoE unit for Buster, and they gave her a 20% NP gauge, so it kind of kills her. I'm not gonna lie, if you don't know why, you need at least 30%, so they gave her 10% off, and unfortunately she just doesn't do very much besides stuff with the Sunlight Battlefield. So if you were in a team that I guess was super focused on Sunlight Battlefield, you could use her there, but you can see that's a very niche application. And as a big fan of Gareth, and especially someone who likes her summer outfit and everything around her, she's just a cute little marshmallow. I wish them to buff her at some point, just so I can use more of her. But if all you care about is the looks, which to be fair, for summer, I usually say this every single time I talk about a summer banner, the main reason most people summon for a summer unit is because they like the unit and they want the unit in the summer outfit. So if your reason for summoning for them is that alone, you don't need to hear any justification from me. Go live your life. Shine on, you crazy diamond. But if you're someone who's interested in how good these are, Summer Gareth is the weakest of all of them. Next is Ares. I think she's a very good single target Avenger. Especially because I have her NP. I actually got her like NP 16 or something insane with Summer Ibuki. So I have her fully built out. So maybe it's a little bit of a biased thing, but she absolutely destroys anything that she comes across for me, because she has an anti-servant skill on her 3rd, which can come in pretty handy. She gives 150% bonus damage against anyone with Curse, and she has an ability that can give Curse. Very solid unit, especially if you're fighting a ruler. I have been able to basically destroy all of them with just her, and in some cases when it's just a servant, she's been able to do very well with it there too. Very surprised to hear, but she's like, I think, my favorite of the 4 stars for this year, just because of how much work she's put in for me. So if you're someone who's definitely in the need for a single target Avenger, she's good to go in that case. And then we have Wuzatane, and Wuzatane I really like. She's a nice little support unit. She works about as good as I figured she would be, which is that she's best as a support that can be tacked on when they're already kind of nicely supported already. If you're ever in a node that you wanted to go for, like, let's say a multi-core, she can be useful in one of those. If what you're fighting is specifically assassins or berserkers, because she can help out with her noble phantasm, since she's able to give all of them the undead trait, and then one of her skills makes her bonus damage against the undead enemies. Very nice little usability here. So I like her. She's a very good support. She's not on the level of Summer Chloe, but she still is usable, which is good enough for me. It's good enough for me. Plus, again, her swimsuits are just amazing. I love all of these. And funny enough, I like this one the most. It might just be because it reminds me of the bouncing zombies, but I really like this outfit. Which is funny because this would be hot as hell in summer. This feels more appropriate for summer, even though she's got the big-ass cape. I guess this one actually is the most... Actually, all of these are good. Every single one of these are good. But anyway, that's enough. Focus on them. Good, all but Gareth good, at the very least, I'll say. And now let's go into the 5 stars, starting with Lady Avalon. We have Lady Avalon. She's a pretender, also known as Lady A, Merlin prototype. She does not suffer from the Merlin debuff that only affects the singular Merlin we have because her name is Lady Avalon. Very funny. But, funny how that works, but it is the way it works. So she can be used with Oberon. 1 quick, 3 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hits extra. Her first skill is to light upon that hand B, increases one ally's arts performance for 3 turns, increases their max HP for 3 turns, increases their critical damage for 1 turn, 50% to arts, 3000 to max HP, and crit damage is 100% up on a cooldown of 6. Her second skill is the Blooming Flower of Summer Nights D, increases party's attack for 3 turns, charges the party's MP gauge by 20%, overcharges the party's MP by 1 stage for 1 time 3 turns. It's 20% to attack on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is Succubus Ridge EX, grants party invincibility for 1 turn, reduces all enemies' MP gauge by 1 every turn for 1 time, unstackable, prevents enemies' MP from being charged for 1 tick at the start of the next turn, charges his own MP gauge based on the number of enemies, the amount of NP gained is charged is multiplied by the number of enemies. The NP turn charge minus works similar to the NP seal, enemy charge is not drained in the same turn that it is used, enemy charge is prevented from gaining a tick for the next turn. The NP turn charge minus can be used even if the enemy has no charge. NP turn charge minus is used when an enemy NP is full. The enemy will use their NP and the effect of the skill is applied the turn after when they have no charge. The amount of NP you can gain per enemy is 20%, and this is on a cooldown of 8. Her passive skills are Territory Creation D, Item Construction A+, Mixed Blood EX, High Speed Divine Words Bewitching, and Independent Manifestation A. The Mixed Blood EX gives charges own NP gauge by 5% every turn. The High Speed Divine Words Bewitching is a start the battle with your NP charged by 20% already. And Independent Manifestation A is just the same. Increase own crit damage by 10%, increase your own instant kill resistance by 10%, and increase own mental debuff resistance by 10%. Her third pen skill is an anti-saber attack damage aptitude, and her noble phantasm is the Winds of Avalon, extending an invitation towards Utopia, its arts. Rank A, anti-unit, increases the party's max HP for 3 turns, and then charges the party's MP gauge every turn for 3 turns. At MP level 1, it's 3000, and MP regen is 5%, and if you get her all the way to MP level 5, it's 5000 to the max HP gained, and then the MP regen is 10%, and then you gain crit stars every turn for 5 turns. It's 5 at charge level 1, and if you get it all the way to the final charge level, it's 25. And finally, her Bond CE is the pure white I saw in that summer. When equipped to a Lady Avalon, increases the party's arts performance by 10% and increases the party's crit damage by 15% while self is on the field. And that is Lady Avalon. So how is she? Well, she is as I figured she would be, and as using her from now on is a great support that can be used alongside Castoria and can be used alongside herself if you so need it. If you're in some specific team build, she is very good. Castoria is still obviously the go-to when it comes to arts, but this is a good supplementary support because she works perfectly with Castoria. In some cases, you can still do the classic 2 Castorias in the team and then have Lady Avalon there at the end. so she can give the final unit the additional 50% to arts, and then also give them crit damage for one turn 100%. But the thing that's nice about her is that she doesn't really conflict with Castoria in any way. She does things that Castoria doesn't do, and can provide things to the team to make it a little bit easier, such as making giving max HP increase, which can kind of work as like a pseudo heal of some kind. Her NP also gives NP regeneration and star regen, which are again two things that Castoria really doesn't do. She's able to overcharge the party's NP gauge, which works perfectly with all the arts units, because it's very easy to get 3 Noble Phantasms to overcharge Noble Phantasms when you're all in arts. It can happen naturally. It's not very hard at all. Especially because you are getting a casual 30% from Castoria, and then a starting 20%, and then an additional 20% from yourself, and then you're also gaining it every turn, and then who knows if you're using your arts cards, which you have 3 of, to also increase your arts just a little bit more. Very easy to do, very well built unit, is able to provide something to arts that they don't really have, which is the ability to kind of go into crit damage. She does kind of share some similarities with Pope Joan, but I still feel like she's a better focus in an all supports kind of line for me, as someone who has both of them. It was brought up to me most recently when someone said, like, oh yeah, Pope Joan kind of feels like Lady Avalon with the crit stuff, and I was like, yeah, I kind of see it. I feel like you'd probably still want to use both of them together in that kind of way, and you can see right there Lady Avalon can be used alongside another unit that's kind of crit focused, like a crit focused arts unit. They'll get the obvious benefits from Castoria, but they won't get anything further. But with Lady Avalon, it is nice to have just that sweet 100%. And if for whatever reason you didn't want to use her in a team of arts, the crit damage is not tied to the arts, so you can just give that. She'll just give 50% to arts and then also give them 100% crit damage, just as long as you know that it only lasts for a single turn. So that's Lady Avalon. I think she's really good. She's usually the second go-to. No, usually the second go-to for supports go. There's usually, in my head, a stack of supports, which is the first 3, which are, these are the ones you want to get if you want to get better at the colors that they're using, which is if you want quick, it's Summer Skadi. If you want to get better with arts, you go with Castoria. If you want Buster, you go with Koyanskaya. And then just barely underneath them is Oberon with this will improve all forms of this will support all 3 of them, and you should get them as soon as you have one of the first ones. And then a step below them are units where it has Lady Avalon, it has Merlin, it has regular Skadi, where it's like once you have your base set of supports, these are amazing side supports that you can get alongside them that can open up some other teams and other team builds that you can do. Very nice unit. Also very good in a swimsuit, which is the most important part. She only has 1, but it is a very good swimsuit. Maybe the silliest summer unit they've released where 2 out of the 3 of them are not swimsuits, but at least this one is a really nice swimsuit, which is really, at the end of the day, what matters most, more than any of her meta capabilities and where she stands in the current game. Where she stands in the current game. Where she stands in a bikini is just as important, or if not more. And now, with that statement out of the way, the next banner, which is the one that features Summer Ibuki and Eris, I'll talk about the main unit on here, which is Summer Ibuki. Man, just looking back at this, it really was a crazy-ass summer last year. Summer Ibuki, she is a berserker. She has 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 busters, 3 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. Her first skill is the Midsummer Goddess Bee, increases party's attack for 3 turns, increases party's crit damage for 3 turns, increases the MP generation rate of Summer Mode's servant allies for 3 turns. The attack up is 20%, the crit damage is 30%, the Summer Mode servant NP generation is 30%, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Her second skill is the Summer Cheerleader C, increases one ally's arts performance for 3 turns, increases their buster performance for 3 turns, reduces their skill cooldowns by 1, 30% to arts, 30% to buster, cooldown of 6, and her third skill is the Beach Apocalypse A+, charges her own MP gauge Gain crit stars every turn for 3 turns, increases on crit star absorption for 3 turns, 50% to NP, 10 star regen, and 5,000 to crit star absorption on a cooldown of 6. Her passive skills include Madness Enhancement E, Dragonkind EX, which is an increased own buster performance by 12%, and reduce own damage taken by 200, and Snake God's Essence A, which is an increased own damage by 250, increase your own buff removal resistance by 20%. Her third skill is an anti-alter ego critical attack chance resistance. And her noble phantasm is the Ibuki no Mitama Hachimiyaku Dodo, Honorable Spirit of Ibuki, 8 channels Surging Waves, rank B plus noble phantasm. It is anti-army, it's arts, it hits 5 times, it removes all enemy defensive buffs, this activates first, and then deals damage to all enemies, reduces their critical attack chance by 20% for 3 turns. At MP level 1, it's 450% damage. If you get her all the way to MP level 5, like I did, it's 750%. And her overcharge effect is a bonus damage against Earth attribute is 150% at charge level 1. And if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 200%. She also has an additional Ascension mode, which is her Malevolent Midsummer Goddess, which is another Spiriton costume. And her Bond CE is the Summer Pom Pom Palms. When it's equipped to her, increases party's arts performance and buster performance by 8%, and then increases the party's damage against the Earth attribute by 10% while she is on the field, and that is Summer Ibuki. It may not shock you to learn that Summer Ibuki is really, really good. She's kind of the go-to if you're looking for an arts AoE unit and a berserker. She's kind of, you pick her up almost immediately. She ended a war that was going on for summer units where it felt like for every year there they were releasing a new arts unit that was always slightly better or in slight contention of being the best AoE arts unit, and then Summer Ibuki came out and it kind of ended all conversations. She's insanely powerful. She, even the new one that was released this year, which is Summer Castoria, she's single target. You'd use them for 2 different reasons, obviously, because one of them is more focused around challenge quest type stuff. And Summer Ibuki, though, even though I say that, I've been able to use Summer Ibuki in challenge quests because all I do is, mine is MP level 5, I hit the Black Grail on her, and then I use Castoria's to protect her, because she obviously has not many defensive skills. This is her one defensive skill, which is reduce their critical attack chance. That doesn't stop them from doing a whole lot of damage to you, but it is at least, they won't crit you out of nowhere, in theory. A 20% less chance of critting you to death, basically. But I've been able to clear things just kind of doing it that way. So, I can say with pretty high confidence she is, if you're looking for arts to get built into arts, she's kind of the go-to unit for it. You can even if you're someone who's like, well, wait, I don't have Castoria, I have Lady Avalon because she came previously, can I use her with her? And yeah, you can use Lady Avalon, you can use a budget option of Zufu, and then you can use a friend Castoria. It's not going to give you the maximum amount of damage that you need, but she should still be able to loop pretty effectively. The reason is that she has a 50% NP charger for herself, which is really nice. That will put out a lot of the heavy work for you. Not only does she increase her attack, she also gives herself NP generation rate, which usually, traditionally on Berserkers, is pretty rough, but when you have this up, it helps her a whole bunch. And it's also nice that this just applies to the party. So if you're with anyone in a summer outfit, she gets the benefits of this. It's really good. Plus, speaking of her support capabilities, she has also kind of like a little pseudo support for Archetype Earth. This skill can actually come in pretty handy. The reason is that it reduces skill cooldowns by 1. And if you're using double Koyanskaya with Archetype Earth, you'll miss out just by 1 the ability to use her charger again, which is a full 100% NP charge. But if you use Summer Ibuki, you can get that with her, and you'll be able to loop with Archetype Earth. Obviously, when we get this append skill later on, we might not have that ability as like a go-to anymore. But for the time being, you know, it's going to take a while for us to get to our next anniversary, almost an entire year. So you can use her in the meantime as that until we get that append skill. But yeah, she is very good. She is to the point where it's like I've been having trouble putting into exact words how good she is. I can just show you a video of her doing like a buttload of damage. I have a lot of videos on my channel where she just does that. You know what? I'll just show a slight montage of stuff right here, and then we'll get back to it. And then when we get back to it, you're gonna hear me talking about Summer Skadi. How about that? There you go. Roll the footage. Summer Skadi. She is a ruler. She has 2 quicks, 1 arts, 2 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. First skill is the Primeval Rune Midsummer A, increases own allies' quick performance for 3 turns, increases their critical damage of buster cards for 3 turns. At level 10, it's 50% to quick and 100% to buster crit damage on a cooldown of 6. Her second skill is the Midsummer Ice Cream C, increases the party's attack for 3 turns, increases the party's quick performance for 3 turns, increases the party's buster performance for 3 turns, and gain crit stars every turn for 3 turns, 20% to attack, and you get 15% to quick and buster, and 15 star regeneration on a cooldown of 7. Her third skill is Dreaming in the Late Summer Night A+, charges 1 ally's NP gauge, increases their critical star absorption of buster cards for 1 turn, gain crit stars, 50% to NP, 5,000 buster absorption. The stars you gain are 15, and this is on a cooldown of 7. Her passive skills include Magic Resistance EX, Territory Creation A, Goddess Essence A. Her third skill is a anti-caster attack damage aptitude, because trust no one, not even yourself. And our Noble Phantasm is the Gate of Aegir, Gate towards the Bountiful Ocean, rank A anti-summer quick Noble Phantasm that hits 6 times, deals damage to all enemies, reduces their NP gauge by 1. At MP level 1, it's 600%, and if you get her all the way to MP level 5, it's 1000. And her overcharge effect is increase your own damage when on the waterside battlefield for 1 turn, and then deal extra damage against enemies with a lawful alignment. 10% to the waterside NP damage, and 150% to the lawful extra damage at charge level 1. If you get her all the way to the final charge, it's 30% and 200% to lawful. She has a other costume, Spirit Sun costume dress that is based off of this final Ascension, which she is wearing in this outfit. Thank you very, very much, everyone who told me, like, hey, she actually is technically wearing it because you can see the green, but this is her actually exposing it and seeing it right here. And yeah, you can get this one with a big old fish in there. Look at that, very nice fish. And her Phantasm, her bond level, or her bond CE, is the Silent Tears of Echromia. When equipped to her, increases party's crit damage of buster cards by 30% while she is on the field. And that is Summer Skadi. How is Summer Skadi? Well, if you need someone for quick, she's the go-to for quick. It's her and Skadi. She's number 1 because she gives a little bit more buffs to quick and buster. She has a nice little gimmick here where she's able to increase the damage of buster cards, which is pretty nice. There are some units that can use this better than others. Mainly the ones that are like 2 quick cards, 2 busters, and an arts. They take the most benefit from this. Since they're able to gather a lot of crit stars thanks to the quick, and then they can kind of go in from there. And then if you're using 2 Summer Skadis, you can give 200% to buster crit damage, while her second skill is giving some additional nice, like 15% to buster and then a 20% in general. But if you're using 2 of them, that's 40% and 30% going to buster, so it's pretty nice. She is for all intents and purposes, a very good unit. She is the one you want to go to if you're building quick, and she's the one you're going to use. Also, if you're someone who's starting out on quick, the nice thing is that she can be used to loop herself because her Noble Phantasm is pretty good. So you can actually use her for that purpose alone, and she can kind of be your starting looper as you start to build up your other party. The one thing that can be kind of a bummer for Koyanskaya and Castoria is that obviously you have to build them up first, and then then you have to start working towards the actual DPS units next. And that can take a little bit if you're maybe a little bit in the starting stages. Obviously, for people like me who are later into the game, they're able to spend a lot of their materials to instantly level up a lot of units to level 10, but for many starting people, that's an early struggle for sure. And at least with Summer Skadi, she can kind of take a little bit out of the struggle away as you kind of continuously build up others and you fully build her up. The negatives that I would have for Summer Skadi are something that are not her fault at all. It's quick itself. So even though Summer Skadi is better than Skadi, it doesn't really change quick all that much. All it did was make quick slightly better, and some units that couldn't really loop under Skadi, they could do it under Summer Skadi, but there are still some units who can't loop under Summer Skadi, and some other ones that still need a little bit more help for Black Rail. That's where Chloe comes in, and she can kind of fit that slot in pretty nicely, and she can help out with that. But as you can see there, that's really more of a problem with Quick than it does the unit itself. Could they have done a little bit more to make her kind of feel like Castoria and Koyanskaya? Where I think what most people wanted out of Quick is that they wanted what they got when they went from Tamamo to Castoria or Merlin to Koyanskaya, because if you look at Merlin and then you look at Koyanskaya, those two buster metas are completely different from each other. For Tamamo to Castoria, the arts meta before Castoria looked completely different. It wasn't as insanely good as it is now, but then post-Castoria, it definitely grew up a whole bunch, where it's now just extremely easy to grind with most arts units, no problem. You have to actually actively be a pretty bad arts unit to not be able to be used alongside Castoria and stuff like that. And for Quick, the transition from Skadi into the other Skadi was just Quick got a little bit better, so I can understand maybe there being a little bit of a I wish there was more. That kind of comes down to player preference at that point. I can say for my instance, I enjoy using the quick units that I can, and I've not really had that much of an issue grinding, and the ones that anytime I do, I always go, okay, I guess I can go to the other ones then, if I can't use them. But for some people, I've definitely read their complaints of like, I just don't want to use quick because it just doesn't feel as powerful as the other two. And I can acknowledge that for the most part, even if I don't fully feel the same way. I still like using Quick, so if you're still someone who likes using a lot of Quick units, or your favorite is in Quick, you don't really have a lot of options, do you? But hey, Summer Skadi, she's your go-to, and let's see, maybe for this year, maybe this year is the year they release the super crazy busted Quick support. Let's see. We're due a big Quick glow-up pretty soon, and if that's the case, then Summer Skadi, even if she isn't currently, even if Summer Skadi in the future isn't the main go-to Quick, she'll obviously be the good second stand-in or something. But it's all speculation on JP part at that point. But yeah, that is every unit on here, so I wish you all the best of luck. I already got all the units on here, which is very rare. Usually I never get every single one of the summer units. Usually I'm missing one or two. Like for instance, in this case, I wasn't able to get Summer Melusine, and I wasn't able to get Summer Chloe. I'm just going to have to hold that and move on for the time being. But I was very happy to be able to get all of them, because all these units are either good or they're a unit I like. In the case of Gareth, she's a unit I like, and the rest of these are insanely good, and some of them are units I like. I've actually even liked Aris a little bit more, even though her collab event made me hate her. In the summer event, she was a little bit easier to kind of withstand, and it didn't feel like a screw job in that case of what they were trying to actively ruin the character that they were building up. But either way, I'm rambling here. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you made it this far, again, you can show support by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. People are doing that a lot more lately, and it's been a pretty nice grow as of late, and I'm very shocked at it, because I'm always shocked to see it happen, but I'm also very grateful for anyone who wants to hear me talk and say anything. So thank you very much. It makes me want to do better, and it makes me constantly re-record a lot of these videos over and over and over again. Sometimes you can notice when there's been a clear cut of like, why does his voice sound slightly different? It's because I went back and re-recorded it because I didn't like how my thoughts sounded. But either way, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Best of luck. Until next time. Till next video. Peace out. Bye-bye.